I'm Zack, and I work for the Office of Nuclear Materials Integration, NA 532. I will be giving a quick tutorial on the updated material balance spreadsheet and some of the new features. The MBS now has two separate beginning inventories, one that is broken out by the project level, and the other broken out by the disposition group. These are just different ways of expressing your site's total inventory. The project number will be used to create your forecast and allotment requests that are sent to each program office for review. The disposition group will be used to build your NMMP 15+ year outlook. Your beginning inventory tab should look like the tab shown on the screen. You will have your end of fiscal year 2020 NMIA data on top and some blank rows at the bottom. We'll discuss how to effectively utilize the blank rows a little later. The NMIA data cannot be changed in the MBS. If there is an issue with either beginning inventory tab, you must contact Omni immediately. Moving on to the Entries tab, you will notice a few new columns from last year. Column D, Disp Group, Column Z, Outer Container, Column AA, Inner Container, and Column AB, Total Number of Packages Needed. If we select the drop-down option in the Group column, you can see that the options have been reduced. All hold categories have been removed from consideration, and the transfers in and out have gone from 6 options to 2. You will also notice the Defined Use and No Defined Use column has been removed. The Entries tab you receive will be pre-populated with the data you submitted last FY. It is your responsibility to verify the transactions are still accurate. You should update and delete as necessary. If you must add rows, make sure you are doing it within the outline borders provided. If you do it outside of these borders, the transactions will not populate throughout the rest of the file. When filling out the Entries tab, you can refer to the 3 lookup tabs provided in the MBS. The first lookup tab tells you when to use each term. In the group field, the definition for each nuclear material, how to write it, the weight type used, which materials have decay associated with them, and how each program is identified using the project number. The disk table lookup is populated using your 2020 NMIA data. The active risk lookup allows you to identify which site you are sending material to or receiving material from. Moving back to the Entries tab, you can see that certain columns are filled out depending on the group selected. If you select Discard, Receipt, or Shipment, you must populate the risk field, the outer container field, the inner container field, and the total number of packages needed field. If you are shipping or receiving material from another DOE site, you must populate the Notes field with the last date you coordinated this activity. As you can see from the Entries tab, the first 3 lines were with DOE sites, so the date the shipment was coordinated is in the Notes field. However, the last entry was with a commercial company and does not need a coordination date. The shipments and receipts between DOE sites will be compared to ensure consistency in reporting. Another important thing to remember is to always have an offsetting transaction when you transfer in and out of a disposition group or project number, as you can see from lines 4 and 5. The 2 highlighted cells are for future activities that require a new disposition group or project number. Since these activities have not happened yet, they are not included in your NMIA beginning inventory, so they won't populate throughout the rest of the file. However, if we think back to the beginning inventory tabs, there are the blank spaces at the bottom. Go back to the correct tab and populate with the planned information. On the Proj tab, you will only be able to enter in the Material, Material 2, Project Title, and New Proj Code columns. On the Disk Group tab, you will only be able to enter in the Material, Material 2, Disk Group, and Disk Process columns, as you can see. Great. So now we have our entries filled out and everything will correctly populate throughout the file. Now you need to do a check. Go to the Totals tab and verify that each one of your materials are showing a positive value for the duration of the reporting period. You can toggle between materials by using the drop-down in cell C5. If all your values are positive, you will see a green font. However, if any value goes negative, the cell will be highlighted red. Just go back to the Entries tab and update the line to the correct value. The Master Schedule tab will display all your discards, shipments, and receipts. To update the pivot table, click inside the pivot table, right-click, and hit the refresh button. The F&A Detail tab is what will be sent to the respective program office. Please verify that none of these values go negative in the 5-year outlook. That's all we have to show you today. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask.